And he also shows that he knows how to make better decisions than Robinson. That final throw was not the best decision we've seen Denard Robinson make. And, maybe Tate wouldn't have been as intelligent with it too, but Tate Forcier has proven he knows what to do. So,
especially in crunch time.
So, Tate was struggling, but Tate was struggling against Indiana too, and he was struggling against Michigan State as well. But when you put the ball in his hands with 2 minutes to go, he's proven that he knows what he's doing. So there's no reason to not put Tate in my opinion.
And I know something that we didn't notice on the sidelines, Peter, was that Martavius Odoms was wide open at about the 50-yard line on that play where Denard threw the interception. And that Denard saw him because he had to look past him to throw that bomb. I mean, we both questioned the call immediately on the field, and I think most people did, Peter, but can you see perhaps why Rich Rod would do that, especially because offense had stagnated?
I don't blame Rich Rod as much as most people are doing. I think it was a good decision to go with the hot hand, and I still have to agree with Scott, of course, that you should have been mixing Tate and Denard up all game long. Don't wait until 6 minutes left in the game. And you look at Tate's last drive before Denard's scoring drive, he had a 3-and-out where he was throwing bombs downfield to nobody really. So I can't really blame Rich Rodriguez for making the decision he made.
Yeah, well, I think there's a little bit of hyperbole out there on the internets regarding Rich Rodriguez. Yes,
the one point you're going to have to realize is Tate, and this is in a lot of cases what might have happened with Denard on that throw too. Tate Forcier was throwing bombs down the field because his receivers weren't open. Give Iowa a lot of credit in the second half. Their secondary locked down on the Michigan receivers, and the Michigan receivers just weren't open. So Tate Forcier would get the ball, he'd run around for a couple seconds, no one would be open, and the only option he would have would be to throw deep. So was he making great decisions? Maybe not. Maybe he needs to throw the ball away more and not, throw it out there. But give Iowa's secondary credit too. It was not all Tate Forcier making bad decisions.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You give them some credit for that. But but when the running game was working so well,
right,
sometimes you wonder.
Brandon Miner had a great scoring drive, 7 carries, 44 yards, and a touchdown. And then we just didn't really see him again for the entire fourth quarter.
Right. Well, of course, falling behind too. Well, let's move to what usually is a falling behind and usually a bad situation for an offense, and that's 3rd and long. It seems as though when this Michigan defense faces a 3rd and long, Peter, it's like it's a 3rd and inches. Here's a 3rd and 6 where Stanzi just rifles it down the sideline. I mean, over and over again we saw this. And this is against Donovan Warren, who played a very good game, by the way. Iowa threw every downfield pass they threw towards Donovan Warren, and he defensed a number of them. But 3rd and long, this is a bugaboo that's existed under Jim Herman, under Ron English. What's going on here, Peter?
I mean, once again, we talk about basics, defensive schemes. Maybe the one 3rd and long I remember, of course, was the 3rd and 24, I believe it was, which was
that's right there,
yep. Which was a disaster. And you wonder, why didn't you just have a safety over the middle on 3rd and 24?
Well, it turns out there was a safety, actually, Scott, right?
I hate to harp on one guy, but the one thing I see when I look at those highlights is number 40, Mike Williams, always 3 steps behind the play. And as a safety, especially on a 3rd and 24, you cannot let people behind you in that situation. So in a lot of these 3rd and longs, it really came down to questionable safety play.
Yeah, Warren was with him step for step, even towards the end. But when you looked at it again on television, you saw that Mike Williams was their cover 2 safety there and got sucked up. Who knows why on 3rd and 24?
Yeah, who knows?
And went over the top. Well, we need to take a commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to take a look at the Big Ten. Things are really, really shaking up. Welcome back to Varsity Blue. Alex Prasad, Scott Wagner, Peter Saul. Not in Varsity Blues territory quite yet. And hopefully this upcoming weekend will amend this 2-game losing streak. But we'll get to that in a second. First, let's take a look around the Big Ten, guys. It's just lots of interesting things happened this past weekend. Most notably, Ohio State taking down Wisconsin 31-13. Ohio State with 2 pick sixes and a kickoff return for a touchdown. And as Scott just mentioned to me, Terrell Pryor, 5 completions in that game. Just a stellar performance from Terrell Pryor.
Only 8 first downs from their offense overall.
Wow, that very interesting. But of course, then you look at the standings. There is Ohio State with the 3 Big Ten wins alone in number 1. Of course, Iowa, the only other undefeated team in Big Ten play, and also overall at 2-0. So let's talk about this, guys. Let's start with Ohio State and Wisconsin. Can Wisconsin buy a win here, Scott? I mean, if Wisconsin did not play awfully, and of course it is worth mentioning that the Ohio State defense is pretty good, and Wisconsin's 1 touchdown came on a fake field goal that we'll see in a second. But what do we take away from this game? Do we take away that Wisconsin's just not a very good team, and Ohio State finds a way to win, or is it that both aren't very good?
And you're seeing the Wisconsin's lone touchdown here, and look, it came late in the second, so they were tied for a good portion of this game. I think sometimes when you see teams win ugly games, you think that they're not very good, but you got to give Ohio State's defense a lot of credit because they've been locking down on teams this entire year. But you said Terrell Pryor, 5 for 13 in the game. Peter mentioned 8 offensive touchdowns. You're not going to win. You're not going to go very far if you have an offense like that. They have a good defense, but you can't score, what would it be, 10 offensive points every week and expect to win.
Yeah.
And Terrell Pryor is simply looking less and less menacing every week, wouldn't you agree? And you wonder just how bad the loss of Beanie Wells is affecting them as far as becoming a more one-dimensional offense.
Yeah, well, of course, in his freshman year, he had the luxury of leaning on Beanie Wells, a very good running back, a guy that could carry the ball 30 times and get 30 yards, but then bust the 2 really long runs, and that kind of Javon Ringer type. And that's something that he give him credit. He kept pounding the ball, and eventually good things happened. Pryor doesn't have that luxury anymore, and it looks a little bit exposed. It's interesting that Ohio State, they've tried to move their offense more towards the spread type offense, but they're still really stuck in power I. They want to keep playing Ohio State football. Square peg, round hole discussion begins now. And of course, also Michigan State, writing their season, beating Illinois on the road at Illinois, and we've talked a lot about Illinois and how bad Illinois is, but when you go on the road and beat a Big Ten team, it's still a win. Is Michigan State, is something going on here, Peter?
No, I don't think so.
Bubbling up the hopes of optimism there for Sparty?
I think it shows us how bad Illinois is and how much like Terrell Pryor, Juice Williams seems to be getting less and less menacing every week. I mean, I don't even know if he'll be starting the rest of the year. And Ron Zook definitely on the chopping block as far as his job security is concerned.
We've been talking about just how bad Illinois is the whole season, but continue, Scott.
Yeah,
keep kicking them when they're down.
We've said enough about Illinois, so I'm going to focus on Michigan State. I really think this is a team that could finish the year 6-6, 7-5, given they're 3-3 right now. I think they're a pretty good football team. I said that last week on the show, but Michigan State, they jumped out to an early 14-0 lead in this game as well. So you can see that maybe they're starting to right the ship after the 3 early losses. So I think Michigan State could continue to play well, and they might be looking at a New Year's Day bowl if everything goes well. We'll see.
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about 2 teams that, if the season ended today, would be in New Year's Day bowls, and of course it doesn't end today. That's Iowa at Wisconsin this weekend. Iowa, I think they played pretty well. They played pretty well,
yeah.
And of course Wisconsin not. Wisconsin, was undefeated going into Ohio State, but unimpressive. What are you guys looking for in this game, Peter? And who do you think is going to come out on top?